Well, how you doing? Come on in. And don't mind the messes. The house is a mess, so I'll have to edit that part out. Yeah. It's starting to look a little more lush out here. So I figured at least I should put a good shirt on once in my life. Yeah. So we'll probably just both, you know what, we can take a trip into the North Surrey chiro together there, and you can see what it is that I do outside of the ring to get myself prepared for my up and coming events.
I've been coming here for about 2.5 years to see Dr. Dave. He's the only guy I come see. You really got to do your homework when you're seeking out medical assistance for anything, for treatments or anything.
And everything here is still the same?
Yep, nice simple, haven't been bothered.
Thank you. When you're ready, you can go to number 3.
Okay, thank you. This is where the magic happens. I think he's definitely one of the more experienced guys in his profession, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I came to see Dr. Dave. And I think it would be a great opportunity to share with you the story of how we started working together, and maybe I'll get Dr. Dave to share that with you guys today.
There we go.
Dr. Dave, this is Mike.
Yeah, we met already.
Okay, Dave.
Okay.
So, you know, I've shared before how Dr. Dave is my guy, and you know, it sounds a little weird, but everybody has that one person that is really instrumental in kind of keeping them moving forward and functional, and he's definitely one of the guys behind the scenes that does work that everyone gets to benefit from that while they're watching me or working with me, but they never really get to meet the gentleman that keeps me moving right. So, you know, Dr. Dave, you've been in the business for a long time, and you've got a little bit more of a pedigree than the average person in your industry, so maybe you can tell us a little bit about
Sure.
your experience.
Well, thanks for that intro. That was pretty nice. I think the important aspect of this is that I've done far more extra training in my profession in terms of sports injuries and sports medicine, having a master's and a fellowship. A fellowship is a 4-year program in sports medicine, and it's quite rigorous, and believe me, there's many times I wanted to quit while doing it. It was pretty horrible, but what it's done is allowed me to have that confidence when I deal with athletes. And it's not just what I'm dealing with you, it's when I deal with various sports teams and university teams. So it's kind of my passion. My passion is the sports aspect of what we do. So it's kind of fun when you deal with guys that are in the ring taking a pounding like you do, and I enjoy having to put you back together again and see the benefits of what we're trying to do.
You've also got a little bit experience in the martial arts as well. Maybe you can share how that applies, and you know that having an understanding, I guess, of what the mindset of a person that participates in those types of activities, and how maybe that helps you deal with guys like myself.
Well, yeah, I think that's being a bit generous when you say an experience in martial arts. I did about 8 or 9 years of karate, and in that time I just competed very, very marginally, really. I wanted to keep my body together because obviously with what I do, I couldn't risk too many injuries. But that was just the tip of the iceberg, in that I continued to play rugby well into my 50s, which wasn't probably the smartest thing on the planet, but it was a passion. I enjoyed it. I've been around hockey. I've been around junior hockey a lot. So I kind of like the contact sports. I like the collision sports, not just for the entertainment aspect of it, but for what you have to do to keep these guys going. because that's not, you're not playing chess.
Mm-hmm.
Your body's taking a beating. You're not going into this with a weak head. You have to be smart. You have to be smart to start with, but you also have to be very focused on what you're doing. Because if you go in haphazard, you're done. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get beat up.
So I'm going to tell you the story, I guess, about how I actually came in to start working with Dr. Dave. I was a strength coach over there at Steve Nash, just around the corner, and somebody had told me about Dr. Dave, and so I figured I needed to come over there and get a treatment. So I came over here to North Surrey Chiro, walked in, and the young lady that's probably at the desk right now was probably the one that I had came to and said, listen, I need a treatment. I'm looking to see Dr. Dave. I'm not interested in buying a package. If he can't treat me for this right now, then I'm basically going to go find somebody that can. And so she went back in there to speak with Dr. Dave, who was probably told pretty much verbatim what I had said, and then asked the young lady to have me come in to meet him, because he had to meet who would be so audacious as to walk into the office and more or less demand treatment under his pretenses. So that was how we kind of got to know each other, and he helped me with the treatment that I came in there for that day, and that was the beginning of a couple of year long rapport and relationship that we've started to develop. And like I said before, very instrumental in my life as a fighter, being able to keep me moving.
That's actually a hilarious story, but I'd be lying if I said it was unique, because we do see that a lot. People come in and they have, first of all, misconceptions as to what's going to happen when they walk in here, and numerous people have come in and they're afraid. I truly do not know what they're thinking as to what I'm going to do to them. Mm-hmm. That everybody who walks in here will be maimed or killed, because we've been doing this for like 100+ years, and that seems to happen all the time. People keep coming back for that. It's mind-boggling to me at times, but what I'll say with that is generally I can disarm them fairly well. And once we have our little chit-chat, they're happy, and they usually walk out laughing, and we're good. It's all great, because what they have to understand is it's not scary. Mm-hmm. This is something that is natural. It's something that the body needs to have done, because you can't be walking around with a restricted body.
Exactly.
Things have to be moving better. Mm-hmm. Now, what you have to understand too is that there's just not one way of doing anything. There's multiple ways. Some people come in, like for instance yourself, and if you don't hear noise, you're going to walk away upset. So you want to hear something happening. I got other people who, they don't want to hear a noise. They don't want any sound whatsoever. So I have to find other techniques to achieve that goal of restoring function without making a lot of noise for them and not making things uncomfortable. So there is a wide range of different ways of doing things. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way to kind of mince words. I think my professional boxing career would have been done before it got started if it wasn't for the work that we're actually doing.
It's good to know.
And so, I really I understand how important this work has been, probably more so than the average Joe, and certainly there's a degree of, different qualifications that people could have, and that's why I've suggested before, you really want to do your homework. This is a overqualified man for what he does, and you pretty much have to be working with guys like myself, particularly when people are taking risks with their life and their health in the ring and in other forms as well, right?
Right on. Absolutely. I gotta get back to work, so talk to you.
See you later.